Really is where we get stuck. It's that thinking of all the possible things that can go wrong. That mindset of, I'm nervous. What if I make mistakes? What if I don't deliver value? The audience probably is smarter than me in some instances. They know more about this topic. All those ideas of the inner dialogue, the negative, the fear is a simple, well, I say simple, but it's a matter of reframing. Mm-hmm. So in the Remarkable framework, you want to start with reframing. What if somebody knew something more than you do? Okay, we can't know everything. It's impossible. The audience that we're presenting to is actually on our side. They want us to win. They're there to gain our knowledge that we've built up in our area of expertise. So reframing some of that fear and just a matter of, I'm nervous to I'm excited, can shift your energy and your ideas to say they're not here to fight me, they're here to welcome me. And whether it's an audience of one to many, or one to any, the idea of public speaking is speaking to one or more people. And also if you reframe that idea, okay, I speak to one person, I speak to 30, I speak to 1,000. It's the similar concept of reframing how you show up.
Interesting. Yeah, I also heard that it's a very common technique amongst athletes that they channel anxiety or nervousness before performing into excitement, and that actually the physical symptom of anxiety and excitement is the same.
That's exactly right. So it's a matter of what word you're choosing to share or you're choosing to accept for that day, for that moment for yourself. And there is a lot to learn from athletes because what they're really fantastic with is focus. When we get so focused or in that zone, you hear the athletes in the zone, the artists in the zone, all of a sudden time stands still. We have no concept of time because we're really embodying how we feel about what we're presenting, what we're doing. And the little words of fear, the little ideas that come up that stop us don't even come into play when we've completely embodied. So from the Remarkable framework, it's reframe all the way to do it, to actually feel the essence of great and remarkable speaking. You need to embody that idea, which is exactly what we can learn from athletes.
Can we also reframe limiting beliefs in that sense? Because one thing, I guess, is reframing a situation, for example, anxiety into excitement outwards. But what about like, am I good enough to hold this presentation, for example, or the inner narrative, like all these inner voices that might create anxiety or nervousness in the first place?
Absolutely. That has a lot to do with the reframing piece of what do you tell yourself? So if we're saying, I can't do this, or the audience knows more than I do, or what if I make a mistake? If we lean into that idea and we believe that, that's where we get stuck. I get stuck when I hold myself back. However, that's only happening here. Chances are, like when I froze and then I went into the presentation and the audience was like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. You should be the speaker for this topic at all times. You're terrific. So what happened? They weren't thinking that I wasn't on my game. They didn't care that I made a mistake. That's the disconnect. What was happening in my head wasn't the truth, wasn't what my audience was thinking. As I mentioned, the audience was there to welcome me. They were excited to learn something. They were actually cheering me on. So once we reframe, then we can empower with that new idea, the new idea that I'm okay, I've got this. I may make a mistake. I'm human. I hope we make a mistake. You know, Zoom, we've all been on Zoom for years now. Do you ever forget to turn off the mute button or turn it on? We forget where it is. I mean, it happens all the time. But when we empower this new idea and we say, okay, I'm not going to let that take me down. I'm going to get in my zone. That's when the mic drop moments happen. That's when we say the most incredible things and we really connect with our words because we're not worried about the external, what people might think. We're actually embodying and realizing that the audience is there to support us. And we open up our minds on our own limitations. It's our own limitations, not what the audience is expecting from us.
And it's surprising to see how, in that case, basically like an on or off switch, right? Like whether we want to switch confidence or reframing kind of works as a switch in that sense. However we show up will determine the reality of what happens in the room.
Yes. Yes. Confidence is almost a byproduct. We don't just show up and say, I'm going to be confident today. It's, I've got this. Here's what I know. Here's what I don't know, which is equally as empowering and also an opportunity to, one, gain the trust of your audience. Because again, we can't know everything. We're not Chat GPT or encyclopedias, but also it's an opportunity for us to connect with our audience later. You know what? René, thank you for that great questions. I'm not really sure about it. May I follow up with you after this presentation? But here's what I do know. And that already is an invitation to continue the conversation. And if we think of every presentation as a conversation, like with friends, family, in social situations, it's meant to be continued. And that's where we keep adding to it and we share ideas. We open that area of creative thinking and innovation because we're willing to share. And again, that trust piece, I don't know, exudes confidence. That's how we express confidence.
Love it. Yeah, that really reaffirms, and I will definitely take that to heart also when facilitating and standing in front of the audience, that the reframing can be the crucial piece. What happens after? Like if we think about like the framework and the different steps, now we did like reframing, what would be the next step?
And then we tap into our self-conscious, which is the mic drop moments, those powerful statements that people go, wow, that's incredible. I got to write that down. But the key is we need to get the reps in. We have to continually practice that by activating, by saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to speak more. I'm going to raise my hand more in meetings. I'm going to reach out. As simple as you're in the market and you're online waiting to check out and somebody has a basket of groceries and there's a sauce in there you've never seen before. Turn around and ask the person, hey, what do you do with that? Is that good? I've seen that on the shelf. Activate, put it into work everywhere you can in your life. That helps you build that muscle, that confidence, that curiosity. And if you're not sure, what do I say? How do I say it? Well, the next step in the Remarkable framework is reflect and reveal. I take people through an exercise of how to tap into your experiences, your stories that have got you where you are today, what you've seen and done, and how you can reveal that and share that with your audience to connect. Oh, you've been through that? Yeah, me too. And the next level is keep quiet. Keep quiet because the silence echoes louder than your words. And it also exudes a confidence. It gives you a chance to maybe say, gee, I'm talking too fast. I need to slow down and take a break. Or I want to get back on my topic. And it also gives the audience an opportunity to catch up with what you're saying. Now, when you're leading facilitations, what do you want the audience to do? You want them to learn very important key tips. Give them a chance to absorb some of that. So we learn the next stage is articulation. Really honing in on your most important message, your one thing you want them to take away succinctly, because they can't learn everything. That's why there's a series of steps. We want them to know certain key things, not overwhelm, and then be the bridge, not the barrier. Learn how to present, pulling different ideas and concepts together as opposed to loading people up with so much information they can't even process. And the second to last step is leveraging that. How can we learn persuasive techniques to really take our knowledge, take our understanding, and really add so much value to the audience you're teaching or speaking to? And finally, take all of that and embody it embody it, that you feel it in your soul, in your energy. I've got this, because you have it. We come in to the conversation knowing our skills, knowing our experiences. So the only thing holding back is that number one, reframing.
Yeah, the perception. I love that. Also, coming back to the bridge that you just talked about, it's incredibly connecting, because when we speak with facilitators, often there's a perception that it's like me as a facilitator versus the group, or like I have to lead the group and then I'm somewhat disconnected from the group. But this, to a healthy degree, can be very productive because you can take yourself out and help the group to move forward. But at some point, being the bridge is actually what we're all about as facilitators, right? Like we connect with the people, and we try to elevate others. And by being with them and connecting with them is a completely different philosophy than being us against them or us versus them. And I need to impress someone, or my facilitation needs to be so good that the others are like completely blown away by the session. No, it's just laying out the process so that others can elevate themselves.
You're so right. And bridging that gap is, you have the opportunity to set the tone. Let people know that you're there to help them. They're there to learn, but creating that energy of a safe space. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. You're going to take them to the next level. And you're right. You're not this separate entity. It's one. And again, they came there to learn something. They're there to support whatever you have to offer. So if we connect the bridge, as opposed to staying on the other side, we realize we're all in it together. We all want the same great experience. Wait, there's more. I am sharing with you my frameworks and resources to improve your speaking skills. Everything I know. You can download them for free at speakingresource.com. Like this video, there's more of that too. So subscribe, and you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Till then, speak remarkably.